Yeah, we designated spitters live every week. Live, designated homie, cause we spit heat. We designated spitters, Francis and Pete. Yes, talking Yankee baseball, hip-hop for the streets. Yup, we designated, yup, we innovative. Yup, we designated, spitters time that you know. Yup, we designated, yup, we innovative. Yup, we designated, spitters, let's start the show.
Well, I'll tell you what, folks. The New York Yankees are off to a really bad start this offseason. Aaron Boone is back. I give it an F-.
I give it a C.
I give this the start of the offseason, folks, an F- for bringing back that losing mentality to my great pinstripes. All I ever wanted was one thing, to hear that Aaron Boone would not be back, and I knew he was coming back. But then when it hit me and I woke up and I said, let me see what's going on in the world. And it said, breaking news, Aaron Boone is back. And then it said 3-year deal with an option. And they promoted him, gave him a promotion, gave him a raise. And they said, baby, it's red panty night. Let's go, Aaron. We want you back in bed, baby. And it's back, folks. Aaron Boone is back. Not even 1 year like I thought it would be. Because I was like, all right, they'll ride it out with cash. They gave this man 3 years with a possibility of a fourth. And called him Jesus Christ, basically. Ridiculous.
Oh, man. Listen, we were in our chat. We had some good debate in the chat, a little back and forth.
We did. Look, NY News guys, we're not always going to agree with each other, but that's why we are the best.
But we're real. That's exactly what I was going to say. That the reason we're the best is because like we're honest. We keep it real. We're not just trying to pander to like one thing or the other.
Never.
Now, I my grade is different from Pete's grade. I give it a C.
Boo.
Maybe a C.
Boo him. Boo him, fam.
C-. They're probably gonna go crazy in the comments for this episode. But I'll tell you like this. I can't disagree.
Even
and I said
daughter,
it in the
your
chat,
daughter was just booing you. I heard your daughter booing that decision.
My daughter's not happy about it. She's not. My daughter's not happy about it. I don't think any of my kids are happy about it, to be honest. But I said it in the chat, man. I mean, when it comes to like our assessment of Boone, like you and everything that Felix has said, everything that Joe has said, like I can't disagree, right? I don't disagree with any assessment, and I say the same things, like the weak mindset, the not non-leadership and all that stuff. It's all true. I think the reason I give it a C just because like I kind of like had to resign myself to the fact that it was going to happen, even though after the wild card game I was like, well, somebody's got to go, right? Isn't it going to be
Everybody
him?
else got blamed. Yo,
and it was like, nah.
Reggie Willits, my man said, freak this. I'm going to go work for nothing. I got to get out of here. My man ran away.
He was probably going to get fired. Maybe he was going to get fired or something. I don't know why.
To be fair, his contract was up.
Oh, his contract was up also?
His contract was up, yeah. But he was like, yeah, I'm going. I mean, my man went back to college. My man said, crazy. I'm going to go pick up my textbooks. I'm going back to college. Freak this. I'm done. But he didn't have no staff no more. You know what I mean? The entire staff is going to be different. That was.
At least 4 new names.
That was the
scapegoat. At least 4 new names, right?
At least 4 new names. That was the scapegoat. He was the scapegoat. Those guys were the scapegoats.
But it's still not enough. I'll tell you this, right? I mean, this is me as a fan. And this is me as a fan. Guys, hear me well. This is me as a fan who is like, I'm not going to say like I'm okay or not okay, whatever, but like I am indifferent that Boone is back. Let's say that. I am indifferent that Boone is back. But I still don't think that just letting 4 coaching staff members go is enough blood for what we just witnessed.
Well, what else can you do? When it comes,
no, I don't know.
That's what I'm like. You know what I mean? When it comes to not players, we're not talking players right now. What else could you do to be like it was a failed year? I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like the guy who they beat up the most on was Phil Nevin. I think Phil Nevin. I mean, look at all the stuff that was out there, and it's amazing the coordination between the media and the Yankees. Because if you remember, once the season ended, about a day or two later, there was somehow these big fluff pieces on Aaron Boone, how great he is. And then it was put out to the media that Phil Nevin was one of the problems because one, which now I like Nevin a little bit again. He's kind of working back on the way of me liking him again because he pushed back on the analytic team. And two, they blamed him for a lot of the bad decisions that Boone made. So Phil Nevin got a lot of the beat down by the Yankees, and the writers all just jumped in on the same thing. And they were like, no, Boone's a god. You can't say nothing. Boone is the greatest manager of all time. He really is. John Heyman wrote a post talking about, well, he has the 5th greatest winning percentage of all time. He's the best manager in baseball. I mean, are we nuts?
Hey, wait. Heyman said that?
Yeah, Heyman said that. Yeah, no joke. They all went off. They all went. Michael Kay, I couldn't even watch it because I see Michael Kay's head just growing while he was like blowing up a fucking balloon. His head was just getting bigger by the second. He is so deeply in love. My man deep-throated Boone live on ESPN. Unbelievable.
Jesus Christ. Listen, I'll say this. Phil Nevin, definitely not high on my list of coaches throughout the season because he happened to be the one who was put on third base, and because they were sending every runner on contact and sending every runner, with close throws and stuff. I was like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Then it came out that it was an organizational decision. And I was like, well, our organization is stupid and our analytics team sucks, like I've been saying all year. And then they fire Nevin, and it comes out that the reason they fired him is because he wasn't on board with their analytics. And then I was sad.
He might be a smart dude. Nevin might have knew what's up.
I call for this guy's head.
I beat the shit out of Nevin.
For all I know, he thinks the way that we do. And that's why they got rid of him.
Maybe.
Because he probably said, hey, you know what? That send in the wild card game, that probably cost us the game. And they were like, no, Phil.
Well, you know what's even worse? Think about this now, right? We are told that they're best friends. But, well, that's not. I don't think that's like a rumor. I think that's confirmed. They are.
No, yeah,
best
been
friends.
confirmed. That's been confirmed.
Think about this for a second. Now that how you said that, I just thought about this. What if, in all reality, Nevin was sticking up for his friend? What if, in all reality, Nevin was pushing back on the analytical department because he knew this was gonna make Boone look bad, or that these decisions did not pay off in favor of his friend or the team? Anybody ever think about that? But here's the other issue I got to say about this.
Let me say one thing. That would make Aaron Boone the shittiest friend there is.
I mean, he's there. He's still there.
That's what I'm saying.
What did he say in the press conference? Oh, if it was ever up to me being a decision, I would have been gone too. Something like that, right?
Yeah, he said like it was a decision between like me or him, then I would have been gone or whatever. I was like, I didn't understand that comment when he made it. I didn't really get it.
Me either. You signed after he was gone.
That's what I'm saying. They told, like, Cashman kind of spilled the beans that Boone already knew that Nevin was going to be gone before he signed his deal.
Exactly.
So that when Boone made that comment, it was like, oh man, you guys didn't get on the same page with your script. You got to work that out before next season.
I'm going to say something real quick, and I want every fan to listen to me. Aaron Boone, I'm going to tell you what Aaron Boone is right now. This is something that we say in Italian a lot. Aaron Boone is what we call a weasel. He's a weasel. Let me tell you what a weasel is. A weasel is exactly what Aaron Boone is. Aaron Boone, Kevin Kernan made this a great point, and he's 100% right. Aaron Boone is happy to be the Yankee manager. That's all there is to it. Aaron Boone is happy to be known as, I am the manager of the New York Yankees. I will never talk back. I'll be a good boy, and I won't do nothing that will aggravate you or my players. They're all going to be very, very happy. And they're going to be excited that this is the type of manager I am. When it comes to the weasel part, Aaron Boone is the type of guy that would do stuff like that to his friend, then go to the media and go, well, I would have left too if I knew. But then the media was just told, yeah, of course, Aaron, you knew, but you're also still back. So you're saying that's your boy, but you still came back for the money and the position, knowing that your boy wouldn't be back anyway. So you still came back. Aaron Boone is a weasel. And this is what I've said, and I say it again. The Yankees will never, ever win with this weasel. Mark my words. And I know you don't agree with that. And I know you don't agree with that.
I was going to say, just to put it out there, I was like, this is where we debated in our group chat. Like, but where I thought, this is where I actually like diverge from like Pete, and I think Felix is on the same boat, right?
Felix thinks exactly the same.
Felix on the same boat. You guys have been saying this for years. And first I want to say, like, yeah, I think I've definitely agreed with that sentiment before, right? What's changed over this season and like going into this offseason is I do think that the Yankees can win in spite of Aaron Boone.
But why? That's my problem with that statement.
Yeah.
If you know that as the general manager, and by all means, folks, don't be confused here. Brian Cashman does not think Aaron Boone is the best manager in baseball. I'll tell you why he doesn't. If that was the case, you do not have to get additional resources to make your manager better. And that's already in the media. Everybody knows that. They need to find somebody that can hold the guys and be a bad cop. They need a good cop to Aaron Boone's bad cop. They need a bad cop there. They're admitting that. If Brian Cashman truly believed this guy is this tremendous manager, he's not. That stuff wouldn't be out there. And two, just to add this part, if we're going to have Kevin Kernan on soon, so we'll talk about his article and other things. But Kevin Kernan is 100% right what he said. Brian Cashman is the do-all end-all. He is the New York Yankees. He's the Yankees. He is the decision maker on everything. Now, of course, he has to go to Hal and go, hey, look, here's the salary. You got to get the final approvals on that. He brought Aaron Boone back because Aaron Boone is very okay with being the lapdog. That's obvious. My concern is, and Francis, look, maybe this didn't come across too well in the text that we were sending back and forth. I'm not saying they don't have a shot of ever winning with Aaron Boone. His mentality cannot lead a team to the World Series. That's that's the way I feel about it. I don't think he gets the most out of the players he needs to. They need to get a lot out of role players. He can't do that. He's proven he can't do that. My thing is, why should the general manager have to go over his head to build a team to win in spite of the manager? That's horrible. That's a horrible way to run an organization.
But for whatever reason, like that's what Cashman wants. Not for whatever reason. I think.
Well, Cashman's running the show. He's even running the show.
Yeah, and again, like I agree with that 100%. And that's one of the things I've been saying since I've been in front of a microphone. Is like, listen, Boone is Boone because Cashman is Cashman. Like the guy who's been pulling the strings, the guy who runs the Yankee organization for years now, since after 2017, is Brian Cashman. Like every move we've made, every call on the field or not on the field, that's him. I don't care what they say at press conferences. I don't care how pretend upset Aaron Boone pretends to get when people make
I was just about to say that
he's not really calling the shots.
That's why that's also why he's a weasel, folks.
We know that you're not calling the shots. We know that that's why you're here. Like, listen, it's public knowledge that Aaron Boone got the Yankee job the first time around in the winter of 2017 because of the interview process, right? They interviewed a couple guys, right? The biggest part of the interview was they gave guys their roster, right?
Right.
9 hitters.
Yep.
And they said, make this lineup. Make the lineup with these 9 hitters, right? We want to see where you're thinking, how you would line these guys up. What will be your, positioning, how you would number them in the lineup, right? And everybody went or whatever. Boone literally made the lineup that their analytics team spit out. What's the thing here? Okay. That doesn't necessarily equate to a good thing because obviously our computers are spitting out the wrong shit. Okay. So when Boone puts out the lineup that's just like the computer, they think that this is like a match made in heaven. This is Kismet. But in all reality, it could be just 2 minds who were wrong analytically, right? Now, Boone is a baseball guy, but he's moved more towards the analytics, right? And that's why he's in the position that he's in. I don't necessarily think he's a lapdog or something. I just think he agrees with this shit.
Come on. What's the definition of a lapdog? you call and they come. That's Aaron Boone. All day.
I feel like yes, that's true, but I feel like he comes because he agrees with this shit. Now,
he probably does.
Because what I wanted to say is like, look, if he didn't agree with this, he should have left. It's what we said on the last episode.
He's not
like,
going
you know
to.
What's the best thing he could do right now is leave, come out and publicly say, like, look, we were doing this, and this, and I didn't agree with this, and this, but that's the way they want to run their organization, and so that's why I had to do it. See, right then and there, it absolves him of everything. I would have said, okay, you're absolved of everything except one thing. You never spoke out against the shit until now. But you're out and you said the truth. But he stuck around and is happy to stick around with 3 years and an option for a fourth, which leads me to believe that Michael Kay is telling the truth. Aaron Boone is in lockstep with everything that Cashman in the front office is doing. Now, again, I do not agree with the way that they go about things up until this point, right? But I will say, I still believe. Why do I believe that they can win a championship in spite of Aaron Boone and even Cashman to an extent? Well, it's been done before. Teams have won with less than ideal managers and GMs who are like hard-headed in a sense, right? And through no merit of their own, right? Because as much as they, did their homework and stuff like that or whatever, like, Aaron Judge is a freaking once in a lifetime talent. You can't really guess that as much as you want to, right? So yes, I give them credit, but also there's some luck involved with Judge being the way Judge is.
Nobody thought Judge would be who he is.
That's what I'm saying. That. So like the fact that they have Judge already on the roster, the fact that they traded for Stanton and the Marlins ate some of that money, the fact that Garrett Cole became a free agent when he did, right? Like there's a couple of things that are like good work, right, on Cashman's end, but also there's some luck involved.
I was about to say, but that's also money. I mean, that
and money.
And it's sad because do you notice he brags about that? He brags hard about that.
He bragged. I don't know what the brag is. It's like, oh yeah, you were able to shell out more money than the next guy. Of course, you work for the Yankees.
Yeah, but the teams in the postseason now, besides really the Dodgers, I mean the Reds. Yeah, I guess the Dodgers and the Red Sox are shelling out money, but I mean, in a sense, I mean, what did the Red Sox do? And
nobody's spending like the Dodgers right now.
No, nobody spends like the Dodgers.
260 is astronomical.
It's look who they're losing to.
Yeah. No, but here's my thing. See, that's my thing, and that's where I was going. So look, they're losing right now, but I mean, let's look at the Dodgers situation, right? Like, there's a lot of things that just didn't go their way. Kershaw getting injured,
right?
Bellinger hasn't had the year he's supposed to have.
The Bauer situation.
Mookie hasn't had the year, and then Bauer, right? I mean, you factor in, leave Mookie and Bellinger where they are, right? Because you'll take a chance with them in any series in the playoffs just because they can get hot. Bellinger hit a huge home run a couple of games ago.
Yep.
But just change Kershaw and Trevor Bauer situations. And do you think this series against Atlanta still looks the way it does? I don't.
You never know.
I don't.
You never know.
But Atlanta can say something similar. I don't know. I mean, Trevor Bauer was Trevor Bauer this year.
Yeah, that's true.
And like Kershaw, I trust him until he gets to the World Series. I don't trust him anymore. But it was like they paid the money to have the team that takes them to the World Series, but they got some bad breaks. Now with the New York Yankees, we spent $206. We stayed under the luxury tax. Congratulations to us, 2021 luxury tax champions. But we got bounced in the wild card game, which brings me to my
probably shouldn't have even made it, to be honest.
No, I think honestly, if we're honest, and we said it, we're probably the only ones who said it. Like, this team doesn't deserve to be a playoff team. We said it all year.
Not at all.
We said it all year.
Not at all.
When they were like close to getting back into the division race, I was like, I cannot believe that like they're actually still capable of winning the division with how badly they started the season. But it is what it is, right? They still ended up being what we thought they were all along, which was pretenders, right?
Yep.
That's what the Yankees were. The Yankees have to be one of the biggest pretenders, at least in the last 15, 20 years in baseball. I don't remember a team on paper and before the season being touted as highly as the Yankees were and finishing the way they did. But I digress.
And that's one of the things that I actually went back and forth with some people on Twitter about also, because their assumption is that no manager could have led this team to a better record than basically they had right now. That it was just the roster's fault. It was nobody else's fault. But that's not true. Yeah, and that's my point. That's not true. And it's funny too because I see Yankee fans also. Cora makes a bad move, and you see how quickly they brag about it. And like, oh look, other managers do the same thing too. Look at that. Look, he did the same thing that Booney did. Yeah, if this was even Yankee writers, Brandon Cuddy wrote, if Aaron Boone did that, everybody would want his head. Like, shut up, my man. Aaron Boone did it all year.
But
he
Aaron
didn't do it
once
sporadically.
I mean, Aaron Boone does this. The thing. See what Cora's. It's true. I've been sending it in our chat too. When Cora does something, I'm like, wow, I can't believe Cora did that. But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, wow, I can't believe Cora pulled the Boone. Like, he doesn't normally do this. Why is he doing this? In the wild card game, when he took Uvalde out in the sixth inning,
I thought it was over.
I was like, what the hell is he doing?
Yep.
Of course, our wonderful analytics department saved his ass. So it didn't end up, biting him. But that was a terrible move. The other day, same thing. He pulled Uvalde. First of all, he brings Uvalde in out of the bullpen, which is, that was a gamble, but it was paying off. 2 strikeouts, right? Then Uvalde ends up, giving up the hit to bring in Correa from second and gives up the lead. But it's still a 1-run game. And before he gave up the hit, he actually threw a pitch that was a borderline strike, so it could have been strike 3, right? So he was literally a bad call away from getting all 3 outs on strikeouts.
Right.
Why do you take him out in that situation? I don't know. That's a Booneyism. But he did it, and they proceeded to get the brakes beat off them to the tune of like, I don't know, like in that I think they went from 2 to like 9, like a 7-run. They had like a 7-run top of the ninth. It was crazy or something like that, or like 5-run or whatever. It was just that was a Booneyism, and that's why writers and people call it out. Why? Because you don't see Cora do that often. So when he does do it, you're like, what? Same thing with Dave Roberts. Remember, they were like, oh my God, he started Corey Knievel in this game. Like, what's going on with them, whatever? Because you don't see them make mistakes like that that often. That's why it sticks out.
And the thing that bothers me, though, is that Michael K. I'm 100%, I'm pretty sure it was Michael K. Michael K said, he did say it. It was Michael K. That's right. He said that every manager across the game are not making decisions like people think. I do not believe that. I'm sorry. Do I think the majority are controlling the game? No. Do I think that the analytics department is going to Alex Cora when the Red Sox brought this dude back and they're looking at Alex Cora and saying, Alex, this is the move you have to make. And Alex Cora goes, no problem. I do not believe those guys are doing that. I don't believe Kevin Cash does it, even though they're big in analytics, and he is too. But I do believe Kevin Cash works with the mindset of there is, the seeing eye. I see things in the feel of the game, and then also hot and cold. I think those guys take those things into account and work with the numbers. Aaron Boone,
Alex Cora, 1000% believes in hot and cold. Just look at Kike Hernandez's placement in the lineup all season.
Yep.
It was directly correlated with whether he was hot or cold. It's simple as that. Now, with that statement, so I will say this. I actually agree with K to an extent. I think there is a large number of managers in Major League Baseball that do not call the shots.
Right, and that's what I said. I think the majority probably don't.
He said something to the tune of like every manager except for like 2 are not calling the shots. That's kind of hard to say.
Yeah, but who's the
2? He said Cora and I think Brian Snitker were the 2 that he gave.
Oh, well, look where those guys are.
Yeah. The crazy thing is they make up literally 50% of the Final Four in the postseason right now, right? Atlanta has won how many divisions in the last couple of years?
Oh, a ton.
The Red Sox have been how successful in the last 10 years? But here's my thing. Like, I feel like he left out Dave Roberts. I don't think Dave Roberts is
no way.
I don't think he's a gopher.
No way.
I definitely think he goes on field. There were situations, right? Just a couple years ago in the World Series against the Red Sox in 2018, he made decisions that were bad decisions that were not analytical decisions. You can't tell me that some of those decisions were analytical decisions. I'm telling you, there's just no way. So I think Dave Roberts also has the autonomy to like make a move with his gut and in certain points of the game. And there's a couple other managers that like Mike Schilt, who, yes, he was just let go by the Cardinals, and maybe it had to do with this, but you can't tell me that Mike Schilt was just like blindly following a computer. No. He's not. He's
Tony
not.
La Russa's not.
Tony La Russa, hell no, is not.
And you
Dusty
could also
Baker.
Well, you can also Dusty Baker's not either, but you could also
Dusty
tell
Baker's
that.
not, so how many?
Tony La Russa made some bad moves,
like 5 or 6 already.
Yeah, Tony La Russa made some bad moves in the postseason. So I mean, and those
Tony
weren't
made some terrible moves.
And those weren't analytical moves. Those were not moves that on paper you go, that might make sense for this, or numbers really show that was the right move. No, I mean that was just a situation where a manager made a bad move, made a bad call. Maybe he panicked a little bit.
And I think with La Russa, the interesting thing with La Russa this offseason, just because we brought it up, I want to make this point. La Russa kind of like made the argument for the analytics people, but I want to stop.
He's always believed in them anyway.
Yeah,
by the way,
I want to stop them in their tracks because I saw the analytics heavy people going way too hard on some of the decisions that Tony La Russa made, and I want to stop them there because it's like, while it is true that he could have done with a little bit of help from analytics, that's not an excuse to say, oh, throw out traditional managing altogether. It doesn't work. The White Sox won a shit ton of games this year. They were a great team for most of the year. Yes, they play in a weaker division, but that's a great team that had adversity at the beginning of the year. A lot of people forgot about it. I didn't. They had a lot of adversity, and Tony La Russa managed that shit. There's a lot of listen. I just told people, listen. I just said it on right here on the episode. I'm indifferent that Boone is back. I don't necessarily like loathe the idea, but one thing I will say to you, Aaron Boone manages the White Sox. That team would have fell apart 2 weeks into the season,
no doubt
because of all the shit that happened.
That's my only
can't handle that.
That's my only point about the New York Yankees and Aaron Boone. It sucks that we got to have fans like yourself say that we have to overcome the manager. That's sad. I mean, that is sad that we as fans have to think that way. And even me, I don't disagree with you saying that we need to get enough players. What did I tell you? What did I say? I don't have the confidence in Cashman to do that.
That they'll do it, yeah.
That's what I've said. I've said, look, I don't think the roster, like even people say, what if they get Corey Seager? It's not enough. It's not enough.
No, Corey Seager by himself is not enough.
People don't understand, too. And I think Yankee fans get in this mindset.
Correa, for that matter,
is not enough. Yankee fans get in this mindset, and I'm not knocking Yankee fans, but it's natural. It's a natural thing to think like you're the only team and then there's 29 others. Yankee fans have this mindset in them that, oh, the Yankees just have to get better. That's it. But everybody else around them gets better. Why do people believe that Toronto next year does not have a chance to win the American League East? People do all of a sudden feel like, well, it's okay. We go out there and we add Seager, and then, maybe we add, okay, for an example, Yankee fans, I've seen a lot of this. You did too. We were talking about it. We'll add Seager and Tanaka. Now, with that being said, we're the best team in baseball. No worries whatsoever. Folks, I'm here to tell you right now, remember this. This
Tanaka
is October
might as well
22.
Be J-Hap right now.
Yeah, for real. This is October 22nd, 2021, 3:50 p.m. If the Yankees do not make major overhauls in the roster, forget them winning anything. I don't care if it's Boone. I don't care if it's Cash God. Do not expect them to win a single damn thing. Because one, the manager isn't going to help. I don't care if they brought in Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, the Terminator, to be the bench coach. That everybody's shit scared if they don't play hard. They will not win with this roster. They got a ton of question marks, a ton of things that need to be done. We're going to get into that next because I'm done talking about the whole Boone thing. He's back. It is what it is, right? They have huge decisions coming up to make. And like somebody else said to me recently, well, Pete, they can't sign enough of these guys. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. You're damn right they can.
They can sign and trade. Listen, oddly enough, for the first time, and I want to say probably 5 or 6 years, there is significant buzz around the Yankees making major moves, and we're still in October.
We'll see how it ends up, though.
No, we'll see. We'll see. But again, like all the quote unquote insiders, because 90% of the time they're wrong anyway. But just saying, I mean, for what it's worth, all of them are saying like everybody expects a lot of movement. Maybe they're going off of the press conference, maybe they're going off of other things that they're hearing or whatever.
Well, one thing they may be going off of too, Francis, is common sense, right? I mean, is it
again? Yeah, but even that, like that's why I lean more on like what you just said though. Like we've had common sense for years,
Correct.
man, but the Yankees don't seem to follow common sense.
And that's why I'm still worried. That's why I'm not sitting here, and that's why I'm not on your side of it saying they could win with Boone if they make the right moves. That's a huge if. That is a major if to have confidence with.
It's one of the biggest ifs I've ever let leave my lips. But I don't even mean to be funny. This is one of the biggest ifs ever, because the thing is that Boone doesn't leave very much margin for error. Like,
not at all.
Listen, people, I'm saying, look, I am indifferent that he's back. Like, I don't hate it. I don't loathe it. But I think it's the reason that I feel that way is because at the end of the day, I was just like, I knew that this was going to happen, even though I didn't want it to happen. I just knew it was going to happen because this is what the Yankees are. Yep. And a lot of people have been trying to tell us this for years. And it's like, I think I finally understood, this is what they are. Okay. So now my mindset has shifted to, okay, if this is what they're going to be, let me in my mind find a way that they can still win. Right. Until they prove to me that it's like, I look in my head and for as hard as I try, I can't find a way that they can win. That could possibly happen this winter, because if they don't make a major overhaul, I'm not saying 2 new names in the lineup on opening day.
No, I'm
saying 3 to 4. 3 to 4.
Yep.
And when I say 3, that's it's another pretty big if that would work. 4. It needs to be. It really needs to be 4 new names. Okay.
And
a different catcher.
Oh yeah.
Different shortstop.
Yep.
A different center fielder.
I agree.
And I mean.
And a role player. And a good role player. And we're seeing one.
Player.
I don't want to get. We'll get into names.
Offense, Tyler, but
I've seen a lot of Yankee fans. I wrote the other day, and I didn't write this. Well, maybe I did write it because I saw the home runs that he hit, but it's the player. Forget the home runs he hit. That's nice because he's a winning player. But a guy like Chris Taylor, that's a role player. So I'm not saying Yankees, if you fail on getting Chris Taylor, you're not gonna win. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the Yankees need versatility and need athletes. Chris Taylor plays third base. He plays second base. He plays center field. He plays left field. He plays all over the place, and he plays good. He's not a guy that you throw at third base and he's decent. He's really good. So that's the thing that a lot of Yankee fans, you need to wrap your head around this. Francis is right. He's spot on. If next year we go, yes, we got Corey Seager. Amazing. I'm so happy we got Seager. Oh my God. We traded for a center fielder. I don't know who it is. We got a center fielder too. I'm so excited. Up the middle, we got a little better. But, I'm sorry. Let me take this back. We didn't get a center fielder. We got Corey Seager, and we added Chris Taylor. But Chris Taylor is going to kind of do what DJ LeMahieu did the first year. He's going to move around. He'll play 4 to 5 times a week at every 6 or 7 games. But our center fielder is Aaron Hicks, and our catcher is Gary Sanchez. Quit. Don't go.
Not going to work.
It's not going to work.
Not going to work.
It's not going to work. So here's my thing. Now listen to me, everybody. Stay with me for a second. Then we're going to get into what we would do. Here's my thing. Mr. Reliable, along with everybody else, believes Corey Seager is going to be a Yankee. This reminds me of Patrick Corbin. We'll see where this one goes. But I think there's a little more need in this one than it was even with Corbin. I think there's more of a need here and an actual real want. I think there is real want here. Because, again, you said this earlier, too. You said that your confidence grew a little in Cashman because he recognized some of the issues the lineup had, which was lefty bats, and he went out there and got 2. That doesn't change now. Seager's going to probably be $100 million less than Correa. The Yankees aren't dishing out another $300 million deal. They're not going to do it. Can they? Yes. Will they? I'll tell you right now. I'm super doubtful. Almost as close as 0. I would be over the top shocked if he came to the Yankees.
I still have a little bit of faith. Like, one, I really freaking want Correa. No. Well,
he personifies what the Yankees need, doesn't he?
No shot to Seager because I hate like when because some people are making it like a Seager versus Correa thing, and it really shouldn't be.
No,
it really
shouldn't be. It's
be.
not at all that.
They're both great players. They both bring different things to the table. But you know what they both are that we don't have on the Yankees right now?
Winners.
They're winners. They're champions. Okay, so I don't want to hear the back and forth and the like. No. All right, and let me not say right now because technically Rizzo is still under contract and he is a champion. But what I'm saying is, let's not make it a back and forth who versus who thing. I just want to say, if I had a choice, like, yeah, I want Correa more, and I have hope, but it's not as much as my desire for him is. Like, my desire is like I 100% want him to be a shortstop. My hope, like that it would happen, I'm like at 20%.
Yeah, and
to me, that's a lot.
Yeah.
To me,
that is a lot. That's way higher to me.
20% is generous.
Yeah, that's very generous in my estimation.
Because one thing that you said, and I just want to reiterate, is that, yes, I'm on the side of optimism because of how Brian Cashman operated at the deadline, but there's more evidence against how he operated at the deadline.
Oh, 100, no doubt about it.
Being how he operates in the winter.
No doubt about it.
And so that's why. I know it's all over Twitter. I know there's a bunch of people saying, "Oh, it's gonna happen" or whatever. Like he's serious. Yeah, I know, but it's true. What Pete says. There's more evidence that points to that not being what happens than evidence pointing to that's what's going to happen.
Or again, like we said, right? The scary thing could happen is that they just gaslight us and go, "Oh, look, we got a shortstop. Isn't that awesome?" And that's it. That's a real possibility. So that's the scary thing.
Which would actually be worse.
Yeah, it would be, because it's like a little tickle on your balls, and then nothing happens.
But you can't, because that's like the crazy thing is like, see, here's the thing: if it comes down to, you can have Correa, but he's the only move you make, and you just get like some smaller like residual moves here and there, or you can get Seager, and you actually make a couple other impact moves.
Then it's a no question.
Then my desire shifts dramatically to 100% Seager, 0% Correa.
Well, because you got a better chance of winning.
Back to what we said. We need 4 new names in our lineup for opening day.
And
when I look at the opening day lineup in 2022, I'm going to pull up 2021's opening day lineup, and I want to see 4 different names.
Yep.
It has to be 4 different names. New catcher, new shortstop, new center fielder, new first baseman.
Yeah,
and when I say new,
it could be Rizzo.
It doesn't mean not Rizzo.
That's right.
Rizzo didn't start opening day for us.
Right.
So if he gets signed and comes back, he's new. I'm counting him as new.
You should. That's right. I agree with that. So let me break down. I was breaking it down. Let me continue to break a couple of things down here that I think Yankee fans really need to understand. Brian Cashman this offseason is given probably the greatest situation that a general manager could be in. A general manager of the New York Yankees. Let me explain to you why. He has the greatest puzzle piece to play with, and also an amazing crop of free agents. Nobody's even talked about Jock Peterson. Nobody's even mentioned that winner. Nobody's even mentioned that clutch gene. Nobody's even mentioned that name. Well, people's mentioned him. I'm talking about with the big name. He gets kind of like, down at the middle of the pack that everybody's like, Correa, Seager, this guy, that guy.
Oh yeah,
but a guy like Peterson's there.
Schwarber's another guy that's not getting talked about as much. He's had a pretty big postseason. Also, I don't think he's a name for the Yankees. I'm just saying he's a name. He's a name.
But getting back to what I'm saying, we already know that the Yankees would have money without doing anything to add a big contract. That's known already. Where we are talking about, and I think me and you definitely agree on this, is the roster construction of what you can do to move salary. Here's my concern. I don't believe Brian Cashman is sharp enough to do it. I just don't. I don't believe Brian Cashman can admit enough mistakes or can sit there and tell the fan base, we traded Glaber because we knew our middle infield had to be better and we like it better with Seager and DJ. But anyway, we'll get into all that stuff. I want to just continue on here. If the New York Yankees are smart, There is so many ways that this team can truly save money and is not even going to hurt. That's the amazing thing. Let me read this to you real quick. Let's say, for an example, the Yankees move on from Gary Sanchez. They trade him. They trade Luke Voit. They do not bring back Clint Frazier, Miguel Andujar, meaning they just non-tender him. There's no future here for them anyway. Then they also trade Giovanni Urshela. Okay? That is about $24 to $25 million alone. I don't think there's one fan that will say, oh my God, how did they do that? The season's ruined. Nobody will give a shit. But let's take this a little bit of a step further. We can get $12 more million by eating $6 million of Aroldis Chapman's deal, his last year. $12 million for Chapman is pretty damn attractive.
For a lot of teams, people say, "Oh, Chapman, whatever." You know how many teams struggle with both? With
the
both
Braves, the Giants.
Cincinnati.
I can just name Cincinnati. I can name a
He's
lot
from
of
Cincinnati.
teams.
Like, he's not from Cincinnati, but I'm saying he started out there. There's a lot of places Chapman will go for $12 million.
We eat only 6. So right there alone, that's about $30 more million. $30 more million the Yankees just said.
And this is us. This is the big thing. And I want you Yankee fans listening real close to this part. That's 30-something million created. And this is us going by the luxury tax on the current CBA.
That's
which
right.
expires at the end of this year.
That's
Meaning
right.
that the threshold will either go up, or there's people talking about there not being a threshold, which would be insanity.
Oh, it would be insane. And it will be
insanity.
You know what I would love that for? Why I would love that? It would put, oh my God, imagine what it would do to Steinbrenner. He'd be on the hot
now
seat.
he's in a tough situation. He's in a tough situation. Now he has to, here's the problem. If they, and I can't see them doing this simply because of this one fact right here. The Dodgers, they spent $260 with the luxury tax at $210. They didn't give a shit.
Right. That's right.
If they get rid of that, how does Hal Steinbrenner justify not signing Correa and Seager and just saying fuck it?
I mean, you really can. I mean, if the Yankees payroll gets up to 265, 270, first of all, the fans don't give a shit.
If they get rid of the luxury tax, Pete, we're talking about $300 million payrolls.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
and
like
again,
not everywhere, but the big players.
Well, I haven't. Well, there'll be even more than that, though. That's the thing, too. And that's what I don't think we never said this on air yet. So we said this before we were talking about it. I expect Carlos Correa to actually go to not a necessarily contender. That's my guess. I know somebody said Detroit. I could see Detroit, but I could really see Texas. I could see Texas being a major player for a lot of guys. We'll see where that goes. But you're 100% right. I mean, the field will be open. And I mean, who the hell wouldn't want to be a free agent? Anthony Rizzo would get way more money than expected. So let's do this. Let's do this. Matter of fact, let's have a little fun here. Let's go position by position on the Yankees. This is Francis and Pete not researching nothing. This is, again, October 22nd. This is us shitting, spitting whatever the hell it is. We're shitting the bed here.
Yeah.
That's it. We're just going to talk. Catcher next year. I think we are both on the same page. Under no circumstance should Gary Sanchez be on this team.
He's got to go.
He's very attractive to an NL team, by the way.
Oh.
I mean, if I'm an NL team and I could say, we could pencil him as a DH, what's up? Come on, Gary. What catch you once or twice?
I'm telling you right now.
Don't worry about the defense. Come on over.
I feel like if we DFA Gary Sanchez,
don't DFA him.
I feel like he'll be a Marlin in like 2 days.
Trade him. You'll get value for him. With the DH being open, they can't bullshit you and go, oh, well, his catcher. No. I don't want to hear about the catching. You're about to get a guy that's going to hit 30 home runs for you. We want a deal.
And he never had. Oh my! If Gary Sanchez doesn't have to catch,
he's gonna hit 30 plus homers,
bro. Exactly.
30 plus. So that's my
thing.
Doesn't have to We're not gonna. Don't give him away. Bro. Somebody will bite. Somebody will go. Oh, what is it? His arbitration is maybe $7 million. Okay.
7.5.
Okay.
He's at 7. He's at 7.5. Not even 10.
You could fetch 2 good prospects for Gary Sanchez, or a strong relief pitcher.
7.5 is a projection. He might not even get that much.
He might not even get that. And if I'm the Yankees, I'm not paying that. I'll be honest. So yeah, no. Then that is the thing. people, and I've seen this a lot on Twitter, right? You talk about getting rid of Gary Sanchez, and everybody gets into like a fret. They go, oh my God, but how are you going to make that up in the lineup? You don't have to.
Make up what?
Exactly, and that's my thing too. What are you guys singing that I'm not watching? Make up what? That he hits a few homers?
20-something homer?
Like, the Yankees got 7 other guys that do that.
Come on, guys, I'm going to say this, and this is literally the last thing I'll say about Sanchez. It is common knowledge. It's all over Twitter. You can Google it. It's common knowledge. It's freaking everywhere. Players on the team, pitchers, not just players, pitchers on our team have gone to their agents, and their agents have gone to Yankee leadership and said, what are you going to do about this situation with catcher?
That's right.
Our guys don't want to throw to him.
That's right.
By the end of the year, I think you said it in our last episode, by the end of the year, like it wasn't just Cole who didn't want to pitch the Sanchez.
Kluber.
Right? I'm sorry. I loved him just as much as you all did in 2017. Okay? I'm not blaming him for the reason that he has to go. The Yankee organization failed Gary Sanchez the same way that he failed with them. He was showing up out of shape. He got too comfortable, but they also tried to make him into something that he never was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And they fucked each other.
Yep.
That's what happened. That's what happened there. Now he's got to go off to an NL team and start fresh as a DH.
And God bless him. I wish him all the luck if he goes.
Maybe.
I wish him all the luck if he goes. I'm not even joking. I would love to see Gary Sanchez be a really good player. And he probably will. He probably will be. If he could get the DH spot, like you said, catch once or twice a week, they could still, an NL team could be smart and get somebody that's a little versatile that could also catch a little bit. You can make that work really well with Gary Sanchez.
If they get the NL, I'm telling you,
I would do it. I'd be all over Gary.
If I'm the Marlins, I grab Gary. If I'm St. Louis, I grab Gary in a heartbeat.
What about the Brewers?
Louis is not New York. Oh, the Brewers too. They need offense. Like, I grab him like this. The reason I say St. Louis because it's like, all right, we got Yachty for one more year.
Colorado.
We can have this guy. Yeah.
There's so many teams that I mean, look, if and the way we're saying this, if we're the GM of those teams, I'd be all over him. All over him. Knowing that the main issue with this dude is that his catching gets to him probably, and he doesn't want to necessarily do it. I mean, I saw the scouting report from way back in the day when it said that, may never become a catcher because he may not have the heart to do it. It may not be his thing. He's a little lazy. He's not the guy that's always out there all the time, like they tell us, but okay. But if I'm a National League team, I'm all over him. But anyway, get into some names. Tucker Barnhart's available. He may not have his option picked up. Good catcher, lefty. Okay. There's a couple of trades out there. I think Carson Kelly would be amazing. I don't know if Arizona would trade him, but I think he would be great. Another name that's not a great hitter. He's young. He's 26. He's a switch hitter. On Texas, Jonah Heim, who's from New York, is another name. He's a pretty decent catcher. But remember, they got Sam Huff, who's a beast of a catcher. Tons of power. I think he hit like 340 the rest of this year. Ton of power, everything. He's one of their top prospects for years. So they have a catcher who they're probably going to go to. They'll probably end up being a backup. But there's a few names out there that make sense. So what I'm basically telling Yankee fans is, I don't think Kyle Higashioka should be a starter. I don't think that makes sense for the Yankees. I don't think he's that type of player. I think he's good in his role of situational. The Yankees can go out there and get a defensive mind. Another guy I've been talking about since last year, Jacob Stallings. Had his best year with the Pirates. But he's one of the best framers in the game. They just drafted Davis, who's one of the arguably he's not the top catching prospect right now, but he's their top prospect, and he's right up there in the top 5 of top catching prospects in baseball. So he's not also too far away. And let's be honest here, the Pirates aren't playing to win nothing. So there's an option right there. You got multiple options on that front to replace Gary Sanchez and get better defense on this team and leadership of your pitchers.
Yeah, and that's that information is good to put out there just because I think a lot of people with the whole Gary Sanchez thing, they only look at the free agent class and they're just like, oh, like I don't see any names that I recognize, so that means that there's nobody out there who's going to be better than Gary Sanchez.
That's the problem.
And because guys like Michael Kay are, telling people every day, like, look, Gary Sanchez is one of the best offensive catchers in baseball. I mean, that is what it is. He's not wrong. Because
but that's not the problem.
Because the offense for catchers has dropped substantially. But what we're saying is Gary Sanchez on the Yankees doesn't make sense anymore. We're not saying that he's not going to produce offensively if you send him somewhere and he's catching less and DHing more. We're saying actually he's going to produce more offensively. What we're saying is that doesn't work for the Yankees. We need a starting catcher.
Yep.
Who Garrett Cole wants to throw to.
That's right.
We can't have our wild card. Like we can't be in a freaking wild card. Like, first of all, we shouldn't be in a fucking wild card game in 2022. But that's besides the point. We can't beat game one of the playoffs of a World Series and our backup catcher has to start because Garrett Cole is pitching. That's freaking nonsense. That's literally insanity.
You shouldn't be on a team.
Game one,
that's what that's
the most important games, you're gonna have to sit your starting catcher. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So for me, as far as I'm concerned, when they signed Garrett Cole, the writing was on the wall for Gary Sanchez. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah,
gotta go.
Another name that I just thought about too, that's a free agent, is Yan Gomes. Gomes,
I forgot.
Who's really good. Yan Gomes is real. I mean, played in Oakland shit, over 250, 14 plus homers, plays good defense. It's another one. I mean, they're like, to people to say there's not options, yes, there is. Yes, there is. There's a lot of options out there.
250 doesn't catch a lot of your eyes, but let me tell you, the Yankees could have done with a couple more 250 hitters this year.
No doubt about it. And well, I mean, the Yankees could have done with some good defense behind the plate. I mean, that would have been huge. That alone would have added a couple of wins, I guarantee it. So, for an example, look, I don't want to. Matter of fact, I'll say it afterwards. I'll say it when we get to starting pitching. But first base, I think we both agree. I'd be happy with Anthony Rizzo back. So we're talking about the position who's playing there now, what we would do. First base, give me Anthony Rizzo. If not, by all means, I would love to see a trade for Matt Olson. I don't know how realistic that is, but I would love to see that. But I'd be very happy with Rizzo back. My concern with Anthony Rizzo is Brian Cashman already said at the press conference, kind of at our terms. You know, like, we will walk, but at our terms. They're not going to break the bank for Anthony Rizzo. Anthony Rizzo already turned down, 4 or 5 years for $70 million. I don't know. I don't see the Yankees going much higher than that, if any higher than that. So that's my concern there with a guy like Anthony Rizzo. But I would take him back in a heartbeat.
Oh, no, yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think to me, Rizzo is the most realistic option just because he's only going to cost money, and we traded for him. So he's already been here, kind of built a rapport already with the guys. And Booney. So yeah, I think he makes all the sense in the world. Matt Olson, I love Matt Olson just as much as all of you. I just think it's gonna cost a lot. And then, you know, it comes in to what we were saying before about like Correa. Like, to me, Olson, I put him in that bag with Correa, not in terms of like talent or things like that. In terms of like gettability, right? Like, those are moves that I would be like, wow, I can't believe we actually freaking did that.
I agree.
Right? Like, if we traded for Matt Olson, I'd be like, wow, I can't believe Brian Cashman pulled that off.
I agree.
I cannot believe he pulled that off. That's fucking amazing. Like, I will be like, almost like I was at the deadline. Like, when I was like, you know what? I gotta give it to Brian Cashman, clap it up. He actually did a fucking great job.
Yeah, he did.
If he's able to do that. But I don't know. I feel like if Matt Olson is made available, his market will be pretty robust.
That's where I was going to get to.
You know, the Yankees kind of they get a little scared in markets like
very
that,
much.
So.
Well, think about it. And this is what I've been like. Joe is probably one of the first people out there that talked about Matt Olson to the Yankees or getting Matt Olson. Right? Joe's one of the first people.
Give Joe his credit. Killer Joe needs his credit. So you got to give
Killer Joe his credit. Here's my thing, though. So here's what I want to say about Matt Olson. You were spot on with what you basically just said, was that it would cost a lot, and I don't know if Cashman will be the guy to do it. But think about the teams that are going to be out there. And if you're the Blue Jays, if you're the Athletics, and you're negotiating with the Yankees, and you go, well, we want one of Dominguez or Volpe, along with your other topper, Luis Gil, along with Oswald Peraza. Now, they have every right to do that because somebody's going to give it to them. That's the thing. Somebody's going to give up their top prospects for Matt Olson. Somebody's going to do it.
They'd be right to do, and they'd be correct to do it.
And we already said it though, right? Didn't we already said, look, if they came to me and said, okay, look, we got a great deal on the table, but we do like 3 of your players more. Jason Dominguez, Luis Gil, and Oswald Peraza. Take it. Take them. Done. Where do we sign? That's a lot. But listen, nobody loves Oswald Peraza more than me. Nobody does.
Hey, I love him too.
I went to go see the dude.
I want to see him up.
I traveled to go see it. This is the first minor league player I ever traveled to go see. Let me tell you something real quick. But that is what it takes to win a World Series. Oswald Peraza, as much as I love him, is going to be in AAA. Dominguez, we all think he could be an exceptional talent. He's going to be an A-ball. And Luis Gil may not even be a starter. Even though he showed potential, he may not be a starter eventually. If that's what it takes, done. You do. If Brian Cashman wouldn't move on that, again, he's just a bad general manager. Because those are the moves that make a championship team right there. And you got him for 2 years, right? You had him for next year and the year after.
Yeah, it's 2 years left on Olsen, and that's why it's going to cost, because it's not a mid-year trade.
And on top of that, we don't even know if he's going to be traded. It's not guaranteed.
Years.
It's not even a guarantee he's going to be traded.
It's not. He has 2 years, and it's what I was saying like immediately in the chat. Like, my thing with Oakland is
maybe they want to win with him.
They always find themselves kind of in it, exactly. So they might believe like, yeah, we're not trading Matt Olson because like we can still make a run at this thing. Houston's about to get weaker. The Angels, I mean, they're the Angels.
No matter what the Rangers do, they're not competing next year.
Yeah, no. So it's like in Oakland's mind, they're like, yo, we got a shot. We still got a shot. They were in the mix all year. This year. They were in the mix all year this year until the last couple of weeks of the season. They fell out. Yep. So in their mind, they might be like, hey, we run it back next year. We had a tough break with Chris Bassett going down with the whole hit by some hit by getting hit by a batter. Maybe next year our tides turn and we sneak in through a wild card, or maybe we grab the division. Like, it's kind of tough. So yeah, with Oakland, like, yeah, it's not going to be easy. And, they got freaking Billy Beane over there. This guy's pretty freaking smart. Like, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy to pry him away from that team.
All right. I agree 100%. Moving on to shortstop. We already know second base. Sorry. Second base. Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres. We'll move quickly on this one. I trade him.
Ideally,
I argued with one of my good friends, Daniel Cunningham, who's in our chats a lot. I didn't argue with him, but he sees value in him at second base. And I agree. There is value with him at second base, and he just feels that he's a much better player at second base. I agree with a lot of that. I just feel like Gleyber Torres is not a winning player. And I want Seager at short. I want my second baseman to be better than Gleyber Torres. And I think DJ LeMahieu is a better second baseman than Gleyber Torres. I don't think anybody's going to argue that. A healthy DJ LeMahieu is a better second baseman. That's where my mind is on that. Do I expect anything different? No. I expect Gleyber Torres to be the second baseman.
Yeah, and that's where it gets really weird to me, because it's just like, all right, what do we do? Like, do they sign a first baseman if they're not moving off of Gleyber? Because if that's the case, then they're going to want to put DJ at first base with Gio at third, or, Gleyber at second, and then the new shortstop, whoever that is, unless, of course, they move Gio, which, okay, like I'm not against that either. But I just feel like if I'm moving one out of the two, the reason that I move Torres is, one, because of the potential and the controllability left. He probably brings you back more than a Gio does. He's also not the injury concern that Gio is at this point.
Right.
And Daniel Cunningham's right. Like, he's a way better player at second base. So there's definitely probably teams out there that are like, yeah, no, Gleyber Torres will probably fit over here really well. We give him a shot outside of the bright lights in New York, and they'll go for it. But I agree with you. Ideally, he's moved. And I agree with you for the same reason. Gleyber Torres, what I've seen the last couple of years is, it's a guy who, listen, God love him. He's happy. He's happy where he's at. Like, this is it. If he never wins a championship, if he never wins an MVP or whatever, like, this guy's not going to lose sleep over that.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. Like he's done. I think he's content with the life that he lives today. I think in his mind, he's done enough. And, you know, if that's how he feels, I'm not going to knock him. I mean, this guy's eons more successful than like way more successful than me. Like, it's not even a comparison. So it's like, if that's enough for him, that's enough for him. But I think for the New York Yankees, like with chasing number 28, like you need guys that are fighting a little bit more. And
I agree.
Unfortunately, I haven't seen that from Gleyber Torres. And it's sad because I had crazy hopes in that kid. Crazy hopes.
Just to speed up this process a little bit, let's do this. And then what I would like to do is for both of us to say early on what we think we would do, what moves we would consider to make. So shortstop, cool. What we'll do now is, who's the shortstop the Yankees have right now? Who is the last shortstop that played for him? Velasquez? Okay, we already know. Let's skip it. We're making a change at shortstop. We know that. Third base. Do you have Gio Urshela being your third baseman next year? You personally. Would you have him as your third baseman?
Would I have him?
Yes. This is our decision, our teams, and what we would do. Would you have Gio?
It's hard to say. Honestly, I'd like to move him. I would. If I had the choice, I wouldn't have him. If I had the choice, I would like to move him. Yeah, I would move him. If it's up to me.
I would move him.
Yeah, because we're not talking about what we think is going to happen.
No. This is us. Yeah, this is us.
This is us. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd move him.
I'd move him. Now, here's a great one. Joey Gallo, left field.
Yeah, Joey Gallo is interesting. But
he's a tough one.
I'd honestly try to move him.
I'd move him. But let me say this. So just in case fans don't, discredit us or don't say, oh, we said this. Will the Yankees do it? No. I'll tell you right now, Joey Gallo is going to be the left fielder. He's not moved. He's not. Don't ever think he's going to be moved. He's not going to be moved. I would move him. He's not going to be moved.
I, too, would move him.
Center field, I don't think we have, Brett Gardner. Obviously, we upgrade center field. Or Aaron Hicks. We upgrade center field. He will 100%. Be the Yankee center fielder. He guaranteed Aaron Hicks will be the Yankee center fielder next year. But I would move on from him.
Yeah, I would too. Honestly, I feel like if it was me, I'd be looking.
And field, not to cut you off, right field, we already know. Aaron Judge is the right fielder.
Oh, yeah, that's not even.
And DH, you figure out.
Yeah. I feel like with Hicks, I'd be like, putting feelers out there to see, like, listen, who needs an outfielder? Who's willing to take a flyer on this guy? Maybe we split the money. No, you probably don't want to pay him $10 million. But $10 million is pretty economic. So, like, if I agree to eat 3 or 4 of this annually, you're only going to be paying this guy 6 or 7, and there is some potential there. So he's quote unquote a switch hitter. I don't know. I feel like if you really did the work and the diligence, like, you could find a deal to move Hicks.
Of course you can. Pair him with an Albert Abreu. Pair him with a decent prospect. And it's $10 million a year. That's not a lot of money.
Well, if you pair him with a prospect, you won't have to eat any of that.
That's what I'm saying. And I'd be more than willing to do that. Look, you got like Yoandres Gomez, who's I think maybe like the 7th or 8th prospect. If somebody says, yeah, we'll take him with them and take the whole deal, let's go. Sign me up.
In a heartbeat.
And folks, by the way, I just want everybody to know, I would trade almost the entire prospect pool. Besides Volpe, I would really try hard to work on Volpe. 1, he's Italian, and 2, he's really friggin' good. Those are my reasons. All right? But no, I would really try to hold Anthony Volpe. He's the only guy in the minor leagues that I would be like, from the comparisons you hear about this dude, I need to see some legitimate failure before I'm ready to be like, I think it's time to move on. This kid is really friggin' phenomenal.
Yeah.
And remember, like, some people go, Eric Duncan was talked about the same way. Eric Duncan was never one of the, like, every baseball writer and every baseball organization and magazine out there that follow prospects talk about how really good this dude is.
Oh, yeah.
So, another good year, this kid could be the top prospect in all of baseball.
I feel like, listen, I don't know if this is going to be a hot take or whatever, but I feel like this season by the time this season ends, he's top 5.
Oh, I don't think that's a hot take at all. If he ever matches, people don't understand. Like, I see a lot of people saying, 2024. No, not at all. Like, you cats are really, really making the dude wait. If he ever had the same year this year in high A, he ends the year in Double A with a lot of at-bats.
Yeah.
That puts him a step away from the major leagues already.
Yeah.
So I don't know why people are, I think he could be ready in the start of 2023. If he does the same type of thing, that's not rushing him.
It's possible. Yeah.
I mean, it's very possible. Like, people act like, oh, well, why? Everybody else could get called up at 19 and 20. Our guys can't.
Yeah, I mean, because I think the thing with everyone else is they're just used to like the Yankee way, which has become, not giving guys a shot, at that age and things like that.
Fuck them.
So they don't expect it.
Ugats. That's what we're giving Ugats.
Yeah, they don't expect it. But
I know
it's
Francis
like,
loves the Ugats.
I do. Dude, they can't not. Yeah, like, I'm sorry, but like, we can't pretend like this doesn't happen every freaking day. Like, these teams calling up these young kid phenoms or whatever. Like, we don't know. Volpe has another year like this or whatever. You're right. He could very well be up in 2023.
So Francis, I'm gonna give you real quick, and then we can wrap up. I don't know if you were prepared for this, but I'm a little prepared for what I would do in the Yankee offseason. What I would do. Now, this might sound insane, and it sounds like a lot, but this is actually what the Yankees need to do. They need to make some crazy moves. Okay, here's what I do. There's two free agents I have to sign. Okay.
Okay.
Shortstop, believe it or not, I'm a little flexible. Corey Seager's the guy I go get. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, let's just say, for an example, oh my God, it ends up falling to Marcus Simeon or Trevor Story, who's going to be a lot cheaper. I'm very much okay with that. You know what I mean? People hear Marcus Simeon and they're like, I don't know. Dude could have won the MVP.
Phenomenal year with the Blue Jays.
So,
phenomenal year.
And we're also taking him from the Blue Jays, which we really need. We really need to use that muscle this year. And the other guy, we're going to take him from the Blue Jays too. That's Robbie Ray. I have to pair. And now somebody even commented, they're like, well, Pete, I mean, Garrett Cole can't pitch a good game, and I mean, Robbie Ray can't either. He got beat by the Yankees, a fastball hitting team that hits home runs. I mean, I could see that happening. Let's hold back on Robbie Ray here. He's also not going to take a Patrick Corbin deal. He's not going to cost $25-30 million a year. He's not. He's 30 years old right now. I mean, you might be looking at 20, 22, 23, 24, maybe even $25 million. But you wouldn't lock Robbie Ray for 4 years at $25 a year?
Yeah, I was gonna say 20. If he's getting something like 25, then the years are probably like only 4.
That's what I'm saying. If it's that high, exactly, then the years are going to be a short term type deal.
Exactly.
I don't know the money. Like, I hate getting into money and all that, but here's the money I get away from the Yankees. I do whatever I can to move Aaron Hicks. I move Gio. I move Luke. I do not bring back. There's no point in trying to work anything with Andujar and Frazier, in my opinion. You let them go. DFA them, non-tender them, let them go. Let them go. And you get that money right back. You let them go, you don't have to worry about arbitration. Gary Sanchez, I move, get that salary back. I definitely move Aroldis Chapman. No doubt about it. Possibly even Green, but I probably hold on to Green. That's roughly almost 30 plus million that you just moved, okay? Now, people may sit there and go, well, Pete, you don't have a first baseman. You don't have a third baseman. You don't got a center fielder. I'm going to be economical. I do got a center fielder. I got Estevan Florial. I could manage his bat. I could manage him just being very good defensively. And maybe he hits 210, but maybe he also hits 20 homers. I'm okay with that. Sign me up. Maybe he steals 20 bases. Maybe he's a 20-20 guy.
He's athletic. We need athleticism.
Francis, and we said this before, maybe he shocks us. And he's really friggin' good. Because would that... Actually, let me go back on that. Would that shock me and you? I don't think so.
No.
If he came out of nowhere, hits 230, 235, 240, 25 homers, and has this amazing... Damn, wow.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Okay? I go out there. I look for anybody as a catcher. Give me defense. Jacob Stallings, I think he only has $3 million deal. Like I said, Jonah Heim is a guy who, you're not looking at offense there, but he could catch. And he costs nothing. Yeah. He's the league minimum. So I'm not taking any money on a catcher. I'm letting that be known. I am not taking anything more than $5 million on a catcher. and I'm bringing in a catcher. Okay? Third base, you got options all over. But there is a name of a brother out there that can make a lot of sense on a 1-year deal. Kyle Seager. He can make a lot of sense on a 1-year deal. He's going to hit 25 to 30 homers at Yankee Stadium, and he's a lefty. Yeah, okay. He hits 205, and I know what people might say. Well, Pete, he doesn't necessarily do all this, and he strikes out a lot. We already got that. All right, well, then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw out another strikeout guy to you guys. You want a better third baseman? Chris Taylor. And he's versatile. He could play everywhere. He could spot DJ LeMahieu at second base, and he could play first base. Then I am taking all of that.
Also plays outfield.
Also plays the outfield. Then I'm taking all of that prospect capital we have, and I am finding myself a first baseman. Nate Lowe is a guy on Texas who's finally coming through, and he plays decent defense, but he hits a lot. That's just a cheap name out there. Anthony Rizzo's a free agent. Maybe that fits in my budget. I don't know. Matt Olson is out there. I think if you go to a team like that, if you go to a team like the Athletics, and you go, look, if you're willing to trade this guy, we're really willing to work with you here. Here's the names available. And you have your top guys. You have your Luis Heels. You have your Jason Dominguez's. You have all your top guys. And you tell them flat out, you got to pick up 3 of them. We'll do it. We'll do that deal. Maybe they bite. Maybe they bite. But again, the things that I'm talking about is outside the box thinking. It's, okay, I want, like you said earlier, Francis, right? We both said this. I don't want to see anything like the 2021 roster. I don't want to see that lineup. When I see that lineup, there better be 4 or 5 different names in it. And that's it. So if you give me a different look, I'm willing to work. Like I can see people already. Well, Seager batted 205. But he played. He also played great defense. He also hits homers. So I understand all that. But he's improving in an area that Gio doesn't necessarily do. Do I think you can kind of say, I'd rather have Gio? Okay. Would you rather have Gio or Chris Taylor? Who makes more sense for the Yankees?
Chris Taylor.
Chris Taylor. He can play all over the place. But then, look.
Versatility, athleticism.
And don't underestimate the bench guys. Have a good bench. Finally have a good bench. Tyler Wade is fine on the bench because Tyler Wade can play everywhere. You know what I mean? He can play. So people say Seager's injury prone. This one's injury, and I'm talking about Corey Seager. He's injury prone. This guy's injury prone. But then have logical guys there that can actually have maybe you go out there, you get a guy like a Jonathan Villar. Jonathan Villar plays all over the place, and Jonathan Villar is a great hitter. He's a really strong hitter. Francis, I'll throw you another name out there that you mentioned that you would trade what's his face for? Dominguez. Who's your guy?
My guy? Ketel Marte?
No. You mentioned another one. Cleveland.
Oh, Ramirez.
How
J-Ram.
do we know that? Look, how do we know that can't happen?
I think it's more of a possibility than people think.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. If you could make that trade, are you okay with DJ LeMahieu being the first baseman?
Yeah. If we got J-Ram, hell yeah.
Come on, man.
Because
this is why I would love to be the GM. You got so many options. There's no excuse.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. See the thing that I think I want people to get from this episode and what we're saying is here, like, is the versatility and like the flexibility that is actually available that people don't think is available because of how we've operated in the past. Like,
there's so much. This offseason is it. If he doesn't change his roster completely, he's not good. It's his fault. Give up.
If we don't get Matt Olson or Anthony Rizzo to play first base, that doesn't mean that we're asked out. Like, we can put DJ to play first base, and instead of upgrading that corner infield position, maybe we shift to the other corner infield, because third base is also a premium offensive position.
That's right.
That's the thing that people don't realize, because they're like, oh, well, we got Gio there, whatever. Well, we can move Gio. He's not untouchable.
By the way, too, Chris Taylor's a really good defensive third baseman. Just saying.
He's pretty good defensively, like wherever they put him. But everywhere. Third base, I think, is third base his best. I think that's one of his best positions.
It's one of it. He played it a lot this year, and he's really freaking, like, he's negative across the board. He's really good. All the run differentials, he's really good. Everything across the board, like exceptionally good. So
I just like having a guy like that because like remember when like Ben Zobrist was like, you remember Ben Zobrist free agency, right?
Yeah.
And like everybody was like, oh, he's a Swiss Army knife. He's like very versatile guy. It's gonna be a lot of teams in on him because you need guys like that. Back then, I don't know if Yankee fans realized. I'm sorry, how important a guy like that is for a championship team, but you can't state it enough. Like when guys start to go down, having a guy that just fills in like everywhere, like, oh, this is not just your guy who fills in for the outfield. He fills in for center field. He can fill in for left field. He can fill in for second base. He can fill in for third base. He can fill in for first base. Like that versatility with the consistent bat. I don't know. You can't put a price on that. You can't put a price on it.
And I forgot
the Yankees don't have that necessarily right now.
No, not at all.
DJ's pretty versatile, but DJ doesn't play the outfield.
And Francis too. There's another really good third baseman that actually plays multiple positions. That's a free agent. Eduardo Escobar.
Oh yes, he's another one kind of going unsung right now in the free agent market.
Bro, look, I will run this through you real quick. These are the free agents, and I just want to do this because, again, guys. Just because I said these are the type of things that I would do doesn't mean that, one, it's going to be done. Doesn't mean that if I was dealt with that position, this is what I would actually do. These are the things I think the Yankees have to do. They have to really go wild. They have to really say, okay, so if we are going to maybe add and subtract at a position, like you said, which position is that going to be? They got to be able to make that tough choice. But looking at this for a second, listen to these names. Catcher Manny Pena is another one who's pretty good. Tucker Barnhart's out there. Yan Gomes. Those are options already. First base, we know what it is. First base doesn't have many options. I'll be honest about that one. Second base, we don't really even care about.
Honorable mention. We should mention Freeman because people are saying people are going to say like, oh, Freddie Freeman's a free agent. The reason we're not mentioning Freeman, I think, is pretty obvious.
Yeah,
we realize he's going to be a free agent, but we also realize that he's most likely going to be a Brave again.
Right. That's the way I feel about him. Marcus Simeon, I don't really see as a second baseman. I think he's there. I think he's going to be shortstop for some team. But of course, maybe for the Yankees at least, he'll be a shortstop. There's some good names on it too as free agents. Donovan Solano's back out there, who's a very good bench guy. Chris Owings can play all over the place. Those are more guys. But third baseman, there's a club option for Jose Ramirez. So why the hell wouldn't the Indians trade him? 1 year. But Kyle Seager's a free agent. Chris Bryant's a free agent. Eduardo Escobar. Jonathan Villar. Matt Duffy. These are all names for third basemen that are available. So there's a lot out there. Mark Kahn is another guy that's an outfielder. Tommy Pham is another guy that's an outfielder. Eddie Rosario. Chris Taylor. We mentioned all these names already. But what I'm saying, Starling Marte, we barely talked about.
Joe's mentioned Eddie Rosario the other day. I think some people were like, what? Whatever, Eddie Rosario.
Yeah.
Eddie Rosario would be a good pickup. It doesn't always have to be the freaking 30. He's going to hit 35 to 40 home runs. He's going to bat 320 or whatever. It's not always those guys. We need good role players. That's not the way you win.
That's right.
We need good role players too. That's what we're saying.
And Nick Castellanos could opt out.
I think Castellanos is expected to opt out and probably leave Cincinnati. Now, here's and I said it. I think I said in our chat right away. Castellanos is a guy I love.
I know you do.
I think on the Yankees, I don't see it on the Yankees because he's right-handed and he does a lot of kind of what we have already. But I think Castellanos is going to opt out and he's going to get paid some decent money to go play for a contender somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
He's another guy who could end up just going back to Detroit too.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
You never know.
So, I mean, I guess what I wanted to get out of this episode is to see that obviously when it comes to the offseason, we are lockstep. I mean, we're lockstep when it comes in what we think the offseason needs to be for this club.
Oh, hell yeah.
No doubt about it.
Big changes, it's going to be more of the same in 2022.
Yeah, and I think that the fan base, I think, agrees with that sentiment, is that they do have some major changes. So when I broke down what I would do, what I wanted to show you all was that don't fall for the excuses. They can do all of that. They got so much salary that they can move on from. Here's the crazy thing about the Yankees. And anybody in the comments section, even Francis yourself, tell me if I'm wrong. They got a deep prospect pool. They have money. And they have tons of roster space to move with salaries. They have no excuse to go out there and say, we can't. I mean, look, we tried. We couldn't add Seager and Ray. Bullshit. They can add all of that plus Chris Taylor. They can add all of that plus the guy we didn't talk about, Jock Peterson. They could add all of that stuff. They can do all of it. They just got to be smart enough to say, okay, well, maybe if we lose out on a position, which one is it? Do we go with a Florial in center field to save that money? Do we go with maybe a one-year guy, a stopgap at third base, until maybe Peraza is ready mid-year? There's a lot of things this team has the ability to do. That's why I'm saying this offseason is so damn important, because they must fix this roster. Now, if I'm thinking the way I think right now about Brian Cashman, I expect center field to be Aaron Hicks. I expect Gio back at third. Not that he's a problem, but I expect him back at third. I expect Torres at second base. And I'm a little iffy on if they actually would bring back Gary Sanchez, but it wouldn't shock me. So if they brought all those guys back and they added a shortstop, you better believe you're going to hear my mouth very loud. And it's going to be the same thing. They'll never win. They're not going to win. And I leave it at that. That's my 2 cents.
I gotta say I agree with pretty much most of your sentiments. I gotta say this is like, if the Yankees don't make these 4 or 5 new names appear, then I will be pretty much as, like, I guess resigned to the fact that we're not winning a World Series as I've ever been. I think this year just proved it. Like, the league caught up a long time ago. I can't believe that that's, what Boone chose to say at the end of the year. The league caught up a long time ago. And if the Yankees don't make drastic changes, I'm talking about a serious overhaul here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, maybe we have a name that we know playing first base in DJ LeMahieu, but then the thought process has to shift to maybe we move on from Gio at third and we get an upgrade there. We got to upgrade at shortstop. I understand Aaron Hicks is here. He's cheap. The potential, fuck him. He's got to go. Or else, like, when are we going to learn as an organization to get out of these situations before it's too freaking late? We had the opportunity to move on from Gary Sanchez 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Okay? We had an opportunity to move 2 years ago, okay? After 2019, the Yankees could have said, look, this guy's trending in the wrong direction. He's still young, got a decent amount of control left, and there's still potential there, so we can get teams interested. Let's just move on from him now, because this is not going to work. And we know what we're trying to do with the rotation moving forward. We're about to get guys. We're about to get more analytical. We're about to get guys who throw more shit with crazy spin rates or whatever. Yep. It's probably not going to bode well for this guy. Let's move on from him. They chose not to. Now here it is, 2021. And 2020 was bad, and 2021 was not much better, and it's the same story again.
Yep.
Why are we like the Yankees always the last to know? Why are we the last ones to be let in on the situation with our own freaking players? It has to stop. Let's call a spade, with Aaron Hicks. Let's make a preemptive move. Let's be proactive for once. That's what I'm saying with Aaron Hicks. I could very well see him being on this team another 2-3 years easily, or playing out the entire contract, because that's what the Yankees have been.
As long as Brian Cashman's, he's the only one that would allow that, by the way. Everybody else knows.
Because he loves the guy.
No normal GM would be like, yeah, Aaron Hicks is our starting center fielder no matter what.
Just because he's cheap. Because, like we said, moving Aaron Hicks is as simple as attaching a prospect to him.
Francis, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you something real quick. If somebody would have come up to you, right, and said, Aaron Hicks. Okay, no. Aaron Hicks, you know who he is when he's lockstep. He's a good ball. He's a decent ball player. But I'm going to tell you this real quick. Estevan Florial is going to play all year. All I'm going to give you a stat. I'm going to give you one stat. He's going to walk 70 times. who's a better player that you would say, okay, I'm going to make a business decision. This is the guy I'm going to go with.
Esteban Florial is going to play all year.
He's going to play all year. He's going to walk about 70 to 75 times.
He's going to walk about 70 to 75 times.
He has a good eye. We already know that. I think when he came up, he walked 5 times and struck out 6 times.
Aaron Hicks.
Aaron Hicks is Aaron Hicks.
Yeah, I go with Flo 10 out of 10 times, maybe 12 out of 10 times.
And I'm only giving you that number. That's it.
And
only giving you walks.
You know why? And you know why? Let me tell you why. Because another thing that people aren't talking about, even the defense with Hicks had a drop off. There's too many signs of the trajectory heading in the wrong direction for me to say, let me stick with this guy when I have Florial wasting away down there.
Can I throw something out there too with the defense that a lot of fans do say? You're right. Fans talk about defense, but you know what they talk about? They go, "Oh, I mean, yeah, but it was his arm." Well, hold on. Let me raise my hand. No, this man couldn't read a fly ball. His range was trash. Yeah, so I don't know if it's because he got so bulked.
He's also that's what I was gonna say. He also bulked up for no apparent freaking reason. Well, while Aaron Judge and Stanton were slimming down, he was bulking up.
Well, it's like what Ryan Beck always says. Ryan always laughs at him because Ryan's right. Ryan said the Yankees told him to become a home run hitter. They wanted him to be launch angle guy, and they're like, "Oh, we could find this guy that hits 235, but he's gonna hit 25 to 30 homers, and he's gonna get on base a lot. He's a miracle for analytics. He's the dream boy of analytics." So that's true. Look at all the muscle. But you're right. Why would Aaron Hicks have to load up all this muscle for? What is he looking to do?
He went backwards.
Unless it's for his golf ball hitting. I don't know if it's for that.
I mean, it's the worst fucking thing he could have ever done. The worst thing
I agree.
that Hicks could have done was bulk up the way that he did. And I think the proof is in the pudding. Just look at the freaking results.
Oh, God. Don't say the proof is in the pudding, please, after Aaron Boone said it. Oh, my God. Oh, I can't believe he had the nerve to say that. Like the last 4 years wasn't pudding? This dude act like he had no track record. He just came in out of nowhere.
Nasty pudding.
He said flat out, well, I guess we're going to win a World Series. I mean, the proof will be in the pudding. What was the last 4, Aaron, baby?
Haven't seen it. Haven't seen a cup of pudding yet, but I mean, again, if they make, I think again, at the risk of repeating myself, I'll say it one last time. If this roster is featuring a lot of the guys that we had this year, I'm not expecting much of a difference next year. Garrett Cole could be better. Sevy could be back. I'm still not expecting much of a difference.
It's crazy because I'm going to give the fans – well, bro, I'm going to give the fans a great opportunity for me, okay? I've already said that the Yankees will never win under Aaron Boone. I've already said that, okay? Even if the Yankees do all the moves I said they do, I give you my word now, I will stick to what I've said. I will allow the fans to bash the hell out of me when they win. And I've said it before. Have I not said it? Don't I always say this? I hope he proves me wrong. Don't I always say I hope he proves me wrong? Yeah. And I hope the fans get the trash on me and knock me, and I'll sit here and smile about it because I'll be happy they won the World Series.
Of course. Who would care?
I have no confidence that Aaron Boone could lead a team to a World Series. I think he's basically, and this is no knock on women, there's stronger women out there that can run this team better than him. So when I call him a bitch, I don't mean it. Francis, the one thing we know as New Yorkers, right? There's certain words people get mad when I say you're slow. I don't mean that you're mentally ill. It's a thing that New Yorkers just, man, you're stupid. Shut up. Like, that's not how I want to fight you. That's just something how we talk. That's a bitch move. That's not me saying, oh, you a bitch. I could probably smack the shit out of you. That's not me saying that. That's me, man, you act like a bitch. Shut up. That's not even knocking women. So before we get cancel culture out there, calm down, everybody. Calm down. It's basically me just saying this. There probably is females out there in the sense of it's a man's sport that could actually lead this team and be a better leader than Aaron Boone is. When it's expected already that he's a leader. That's my point.
That's true.
So I can't see. 100%. I don't think he's a good enough leader to lead a team no matter what they do. Hopefully I'm wrong.
Yeah, my thing with Boone, again, the reason I say I'm still going to hold on to hope that they can possibly win in spite of him is I feel like if they make some of these moves that we're talking about, there'll be enough leadership amongst the players that, I mean, Boone, he's literally just going to be like an afterthought.
Bro, what's the chance that Andrew Heaney's back next year?
Oh my God.
Can't you see him signing a minor league deal?
You know what?
You could though.
It's sad.
Admit it. You could see it.
It's sad, but I could see it.
I could definitely see it. I could definitely see Heaney coming back.
No, please, God, no. Because the thing is, like, what are we doing? Like, we really, like, there's really no reason. Like, yes, Tyone is getting ankle surgery, so we're technically down a guy, but no, just no. Just you know what? Bring Tanaka back.
Facts, if that's the case.
Fuck it. Listen,
I'll tell you
literally,
what.
bro, I don't ever want to see Andrew Heaney
not
again, unless he's pitching for the other team.
Yeah,
if he's pitching for the other team, I can't wait to see him.
Throw a 7-inning shutout.
Hey, that's the worst shit is that's what's gonna happen if the Yankees don't make any changes and Heaney goes to another freaking team. He'll have the nerve to come over here and go 7 shutout innings with 11 strikeouts.
Facts. All right, man. I tell you what, I really enjoyed this episode. I'm hoping you guys enjoyed it. Again, just a really fun episode. Like I said, man, I don't know if Designated Spittaz, guys, is ever gonna take a break. We may not. I mean, there's so much news to talk about. This offseason is so wild. Yeah. We may not. So, again, guys, I want to keep updating you and letting you guys know. There will be an announcement made around mid-December, second week of December, of all the great changes NYY News has coming. So, guys, stick around for that. You guys know the deal. Francis, give it to him.
Yeah, I already know the next episode is the best episode. Keep it locked.
I love it. And you guys know one thing. We will never come whack on a Designated Spittaz track. You guys already know. Shout out to Montel Williams. Montel Jordan. Montel Williams. Not Montel Williams.
He went with the talk show host, dude.
That's it.
I don't even know who Montel Williams is, and that's the problem.
You gotta know Montel
That's the
Williams.
problem with you.
That's it. So Montel Jordan, shout out to wherever you at. Yeah, I definitely took that one from you. But anyway, fam, we will talk to you guys soon. Again, signing off. This is the Designated Spittaz. Talk to you guys soon.